Like many fans of the Fallout video game series, I was skeptical when I heard about the TV adaptation. The track record for video game adaptations has been hit or miss, and let's be honest, it's been mostly miss. So I wasn't sure what to expect from Amazon's attempt to bring this rich post-apocalyptic world to the small screen. But I decided to dive in anyway, and I'm here to unpack everything. Spoilers included, so consider yourself warned. The Amazon TV series follows around three characters: Lucy, a Vault Dweller, Maximus, a Brotherhood of Steel squire, and the Ghoul, a bounty hunter. Each of these characters are set out on their individual quests revolving around an escaped Enclave scientist carrying the secret to cold fusion in his skull. While the show is not flawless, it does manage to do something that few other video game adaptations even try to do. It respects the source material. Something else it does is take part in the same shared universe as the games, as opposed to its own continuity. The main character is Lucy, a young woman who sets out to find her father, who is kidnapped in a raid on her vault. Of course, given the nature of the vaults in the Fallout universe, there is something deeper going on in which Lucy is unaware of. Lucy, played by Ella Purnell, is endlessly charming. Her big eyes and mannerisms perfectly represented the sheltered life that she lived in the vault. Having never encountered violence or cruelty, she spends the bulk of the story being completely unprepared for the reality of life in a wasteland. As her story plays out, she struggles to retain her sense of goodness and faith in humanity, even as she is repeatedly faced with the realities of the wasteland. Although she is shown to have trained in hand-to-hand fighting as well as shooting and other survival skills, she proves to be completely unable to deal with the violence and distrust in the wasteland. She gets her ass kicked on a number of occasions and has to endure painful lesson after painful lesson. Maximus is a squire in the Brotherhood of Steel, played by Aaron Moulton. He struggles with his lowly position, but he idealizes the Brotherhood due to having been saved by a Brotherhood knight when he was a child. But when faced with the cowardice of another knight named Titus, Maximus decides to assume Titus's identity and power armor, resolving to complete the mission and find the Enclave scientist and prove himself to the Brotherhood. However, it's Cooper Howard, aka the Ghoul, played by Walter Goggins, that steals the show. Goggins plays essentially two different versions of the same character. The younger version is an actor and former spokesman for Vault-Tec, who is a man of strong moral compass. However, as events played out, his faith in humanity is shaken by the actions of his wife. As a Ghoul, Howard plays an almost completely different character. The Ghoul is jaded by 2 centuries of wasteland survival. Although he has moments of humanity, most of his actions are cruel and selfish. By no means is he a good person anymore, as exemplified by his merciless abuse of Lucy. The 3 main characters converge due to a shared mission to find Siggy, an Enclave scientist played by Michael Emerson. Lucy needs him because the raiders who kidnapped her father need him for reasons she doesn't understand. Maximus needs him because the Brotherhood wants him, and the Ghoul is simply hired as a bounty hunter to track the scientist down, likely by the Enclave itself. There's a lot to like about this series, but that doesn't necessarily mean there aren't a few minor issues. For one, the show's setting does seem to clash at times with what is represented on the screen. Over the period of the few days that Lucy travels on the surface, she passes through various settings from desert to forest to city. I guess this does kind of keep in common with the games. Since Fallout 3, the game worlds have felt strangely compressed, with towns, cities, and biomes being strangely close to each other. However, in the context of the TV show, it does feel strange. I also think the Brotherhood of Steel leans a bit too hard into the pseudo-religious form of their technophilic ideology. Playing the games, I never really had the perspective that they underwent these weird religious ceremonies. The show also screws with continuity a little bit. The show implies that Shady Sands was destroyed by a nuke years before the events of New Vegas, which doesn't make much sense. It also fails to explore the moral ambiguity of the NCR as seen in Fallout 2 and New Vegas. Instead, it portrays him as the good guys of the wasteland. Also, the revelation of the nature of the experience in Vault 31, 32, and 33 is a little bit underwhelming considering the bonkers crap that tends to go on in the other vaults. Although this show was a blast for me, I do have to figure that somebody not so familiar with the source material may find the show's setting a little bit impenetrable. The Brotherhood, NCR, ghouls, and the retro-futuristic setting are all likely too poorly explained for a newcomer to understand. Overall, Fallout does get a thumbs up from me. Fans from the series will likely enjoy seeing the world they love on screen, despite the narrative and continuity quirks. For those new to Fallout, the show does offer enough humor in its unique setting to be worth a watch, although the dense lore might be a bit too hard to grasp initially. So what do you think? Drop a comment below and we'll try to keep it civil.